Good evening, my name is Garrett, and welcome to Last Call. Now, on tonight's verses, we have Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey coming in at a 40% ABV, no age statement, versus Jim Beam Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey coming in at a 40% ABV, no age statement. This is a battle of the classics, the giants, the go-tos. These are both reasonably accessible bottles in about just every market, and for most pocketbooks are really easy to grab. But the question is, what's the big difference, especially if you're a whiskey newbie here? Great, pull up a chair, let's learn some things. I've never put the two up against each other, and I'll be honest, it's been a while since I've had the white label of Jim Beam. So, I'm going to go for color, talk about what we smell, and then the biggest thing, going for taste. Get a little bit of both here. Now, if you're interested in full reviews over both of these bottles, they'll definitely be linked down below when they're live, and you can listen to them a little more in depth there. This is a brand new bottle of Jim. Haven't cracked her open yet. The Jack Daniel's isn't super old. It's only about a week or so that I've had it opened. Okay. I mean, of the two, for color, it could be my eyes. If anything, I would say that Jack Daniel's is just a shade darker or two. Not really much at all. And, I mean, it is darn close. But, let's go for nose on the old Jack Daniel's. Yeah, mapley. I love that maple that's there. I always forget that that's on this one. It's mellow. A little bit of ABV does show up, however. But I love the maple quality that comes across. Some people say they get banana, and I can kind of see what they're going for on it. I wouldn't necessarily say it's banana, but I definitely get that concept. Almost a bread quality on there today. Like a fresh loaf of bread. Little sweet vanilla going on. And just a little bit of like an herbal spicy mintiness going too. Yeah. It's good. Yeah. All right. See how Jim Beam holds up now. Woo! That is definitely different. More oak. Definitely stronger oak notes here. And it goes more rye spice. Not as much of a minty quality that the Jack Daniel's has. A little earthiness in there. A little bit of ABV shows up still. Got some sweetness going on there. And almost like a nice light cherry note. Yeah, it actually does have a good cherry in there. That cherry and vanilla are playing together so well over here. But over here you get that bit of maple mixed with the sweetness. I love that cherry though. I'm a big fan of like Maker's Mark and things like that. So anytime I get cherry notes, it makes me happy. Okay, let's go for taste. And that's good classic. A little metallic, but not bad. You definitely get that bit of maple in there. It's smooth, it's mellow, it's inviting. It's an easy sipper. And that's why Jack Daniel's is a good go-to for so many people. It's not offensive. The ABV does show up a little bit, and that's why we tend to throw it into mixers, things of that nature. But it's got a nice, sweet apple quality to it. A little sweetness, like a vanilla. A little bit of oak on the taste, but that maple is coming across so well for me. Yeah. Like it's an initial earthy maple kick right from the get-go that rolls into the sweetness and that bit of apple and that bit of oak. And everything just kind of flows very simple afterwards and in such a good way. Okay, let's go for the Jim Beam. Yeah. Definitely goes more classic Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, obviously. This is Tennessee. But you get that cherry, you get that vanilla, and that oak. The metallic shows up here at the end, however. Where here you're kind of getting it just kind of a quick spark at the beginning. Here you're getting it throughout the finish. And so it's a little more off-putting. You do get a bit of the oak, you get a bit of sweetness in there, but the oak and cherry are definitely present. Bit of spice in there too. So you get kind of a cherry, oak, rice spiciness here, bit of sweetness from the vanilla, and then it goes a little bit of like a metallic and oak going on there with a little bit of that rye still showing up. It almost goes bread-like on it, but not quite all the way. Kind of wish it did, but it's all right. And that's, again, both of these being that budget-friendly options, metallic notes tend to show up in those anyway. So it's not like it's a big diss against it. I will say of the two, the Jack Daniel's does have less of that quality to it, but you're going to get more of that cherry sweet wood here, where over here you're getting more of that sweet maple. So different in their own aspects, but I think both are really decent pours. All right, let's talk about market price, because we all know market price is market price, and it's always going to vary. When it comes to the Jack Daniel's, I can usually find it as cheap as $18, but sometimes as high as in the 25s to 27s. Jim Beam, on the other hand, it goes as low as like $12, $13, all the way up to sub, $18 to almost $20, depending on where I'm shopping. But to be honest, if I'm on a budget, I'm still going to reach for the Jack Daniel's. I think its flavor profile is great, especially if I'm drinking it neat. Now, if you're using it as a mixer and those kind of things, it probably doesn't really matter too much. But the Jack Daniel's is always going to beat it, in my opinion, even if it's thrown into some Coke. People can tell the difference a little bit. If you're just drinking it just to enjoy, you may not care too much on that. But to be honest, while the Jim Beam has those classic cherry and vanilla and oak, the Jack Daniel's here just brings it home with that maple and how well that sweetness comes across with it. So yeah, there you have it. Jim Beam. So yeah, there you have it. Jack Daniel's versus Jim Beam. If you have questions about either bottle, let me know down in the comment section below. I will do my best to answer it. And if you have any specific spirits that should go up against each other, also let me know down below. Doing these kind of verses puts a whole different perspective on things for me, and I love sharing those experiences with you. And as always, may your last drink of the night be the best one.
And I really like it might